Online culture is growing fast as the internet becomes more decentralized and democratized with Web3. How will that affect pop culture? Here's where you can find out. Virtual fashion is paving the way in the Metaverse. Say hello to Ren Stern, founder at Senspace, who's sharing more about emerging virtual fashion brands and the community of Japanese creators in Web3 they're building.
Thank you, Meta Festival and DEPT Agency team for having me today. Very excited to talk to you a little bit about what we're up to at Senspace and also about the future of virtual fashion, how we think about virtual fashion as well. And so nice to meet you all. My name is Ren Stern. I'm the founder of Senspace, and Senspace is a new creative ecosystem looking to spark a movement bringing Japanese creators into the world of Web3. And we're doing that by launching a new community-driven virtual fashion brand. Today, we are for the most part in stealth, but by the time I believe this video is live and in the wild, we'll have launched and you'll see a lot more about us. So very excited to be talking to you all today. And so to understand a little bit more about what we're building, it's worth digging into what a virtual fashion brand is. And in order to really understand what a virtual fashion brand is, it's worth breaking down all three of those words. So virtual fashion and brand. And so first and foremost, when we think about virtual, we think about items that have a digital identity. And so that can mean physical items that have a digital identity. And by using that digital identity, you further enhance the content and experiences that you're able to provide with that physical item. And so, I have my t-shirt today, which unfortunately doesn't have any sort of digital identity, but by tying that physical piece to some sort of digital ID, potentially an NFT, that's able to allow you to enhance experience with that physical item. And also, when we think about virtual fashion, we think about items that are made digitally. And especially when we think about virtual fashion, we think about items that are unique because they are digital. For example, using the fact that you can, read and write data for digital items, that you're able to change features of a virtual fashion item, for example. And so you might have a snake necklace that then sheds into a rainbow ferret necklace, who knows? But the idea that you can create things that are uniquely digital with virtual fashion. The next word, of course, is fashion. And an important thing to think about is that fashion, means trend first and foremost. You think about top brands today. Supreme is out making Gundam toy characters. Gucci just announced their gaming academy, and so of course, fashion brands make clothing, but it's really about capturing moments, and those moments, especially in a virtual world, might not necessarily be on a runway as well. And then we think about brand. So brand is really about purpose and identity. And so really creating a community around that purpose and identity digitally is something that's unique to virtual fashion. And specifically around Senspace, the identity is around Japan and hip hop. Hip hop to us is not just a genre of music, it's a mentality, it's a way of life, it's an attitude, it's fashion, it's everything in between. And so that's what we're building. But to go in a little bit into how we think about the future of the fashion industry, virtual fashion industry, sort of in the metaverse and in Web3, the first thing that we think about is that when you think about it on a sort of a 10-year time horizon, there'll just be fashion brands. It won't necessarily be digital fashion brands. There will be brands that enhance their experiences through, or enhance the brand itself through digital experiences, or enhance sort of the value of the brand by providing digital fashion items. But it will just be fashion brands. And so, it's just as, recently Artifact, of course, the brand that was acquired by Nike recently, Nike put the Artifact logo next to the Converse logo, and the Jordan logo and the Nike logo. That's how we think about the future of digital fashion brands and how impactful they will be. And when we think about where fashion will live digitally, it's worth thinking about three separate areas. So the first being gaming. When we think about sort of the maturity of digital fashion and skins, really the one mature market around digital fashion is gaming. But what's difficult about gaming today is that there are commercial barriers to enter it. Of course, you can make your own Roblox game, promote it, or create something in Fortnite Creative Mode. But in order to gain scale, these are large scale partnerships. And physical brands have the biggest leverage to be able to get into those spaces. But when we think about things on the longer scale, longer term horizon, we see gaming as a massive opportunity for brands to really scale their presence. You hear a lot about people wearing, and sort of to go back briefly for a second, sorry, to gaming, that's really the true metaverse that exists today, to use a buzzword for a second there. 3D immersive environments, get often talked about specifically when discussing the metaverse. We think that that's a massive long-term opportunity. But today, in terms of technical hurdles around sort of massive multiplayer synchronous experiences, and sort of where fashion can play a role there, the market's coming. It's definitely in early stages, and really see some interesting experimentation, and think it's a long-term opportunity. But in the immediate term, value-added gaming experiences seems to be the big opportunity. And then, of course, the massive topic that what us at Senspace are going after, but also the market itself has been talking about, is NFTs. And using digital ownership to build a brand is clearly a massive, impactful way to brand build today. An artifact, especially, which I mentioned before, is the most successful virtual fashion brand today, has proven that can be a successful model. It's really impactful about somebody like an artifact is that they've given $1 million effectively to each of their NFT holders through their airdrops. When we think about it now, though, going forward, that might not necessarily be possible, especially how NFT and crypto markets are going. So when we think about the future of the market, it's really around providing experiences and entertainment, and social capital to your brand fans. And so, that's where we see the massive opportunity in fashion. The metaverse is really being able to create a new cool by developing a brand that's built digitally first. There hasn't really been a NFT brand that's broken into the gaming space yet. We also think that's a massive opportunity to come as well. The fully baked use case for virtual fashion items is really within games, and creating items and creating brands with specifically in Web3 that can appeal to younger Gen Z audiences, especially when today NFT audiences are a little bit older, is a massive upcoming opportunity. When we think about things on a very, very long-term horizon, we are big believers in an open metaverse economy. There will be a breakthrough between the NFT space and the gaming space. And when that breakthrough starts to happen in the coming years, that's where we'll see really this sector and sort of the total addressable market around this sector really massively expand. And so, those are just our thoughts from my side. Ren Stern, founder of Senspace, as well as our teams. And so, looking forward to, continuing to explore the space, and for you all to continue to explore the space. It's extraordinarily exciting, and have a great time at the festival. Thanks.